10 Transgender Research Topics. Transgender discrimination in healthcare. Healthcare is one of many areas where transgender people face discrimination. You can explore specific examples of how this problem manifests. For instance, consider cases when transgender individuals are denied equal treatment, verbally harassed, or even physically assaulted. You can also examine the impact of this discrimination on the transgender community. Transgender, the concept's history and development. Here, your task is to explore the origins and development of the concept of transgender. You can start by discussing the first sex reassignment surgeries and their impact on transgender issues. You can also explore prominent figures who brought transgender challenges into the limelight and contributed to improving societal attitudes toward trans people. Transgender-Associated Stigma in Healthcare. Transgender individuals experience social stigma because of transphobia prevalent in society. In your paper, you can examine the effects of the stigma on healthcare. In particular, explore how societal disapproval prevents transgender people from seeking medical help. You can also investigate how societal attitudes affect the quality of care provided to transgender patients. Transgender issues in cis and trans-made movies. For this topic, you can find movies about transgender people filmed by cis and transgender directors. Compare how these films represent transgender individuals, what issues they raise, and how the public perceives them. Based on your findings, conclude which movies are better for advocating trans people's rights. Transgender and gender non-conforming children. In this essay, you can discuss nurses' challenges when dealing with transgender and gender non-conforming children. Consider issues often encountered by such patients, such as lack of family support, suicidal behaviors, and severe mental health conditions. Then, you can suggest how nurses can address these problems without invalidating patients' feelings. Transgender community and heterosexism in language. Transgender people existed before the term transgender was coined. In your paper, you can examine linguistic variations in naming trans people since the 19th century. You can also tackle the issue of pronouns used to refer to transgender individuals. Transgender women athletes in professional sports. Transgender athletes in professional sports raise many public debates. Should transgender women be allowed to compete with cis women as equals? How can governing bodies ensure integrity and equality in sports, given the limitations of our scientific knowledge about people's biological differences? Try to answer these challenging questions in your paper. Transgender bias in news coverage. In this paper, you can investigate how different news sources cover transgender issues. You can focus on two sides of the public debate, the one accepting and supporting transgender people and the other claiming the concept of transgenderism to be unnatural and immoral. Analyze the rhetorical devices and appeals both sides use to prove their point. Trump administration and transgender discrimination. If you follow the news, you probably know about President Trump's issues with transgender people. In your essay, you can analyze his attempts to infringe on transgender individuals' healthcare and military service rights. Consider how his proposed initiatives could harm this population group and reverse the achievements of the transgender rights movement. Hate crimes against transgender people. For this topic, you can explore the statistics of hate crimes against transgender people. Who is at the highest risk of becoming a victim? What are the typical demographic characteristics of perpetrators? You can also suggest strategies for the criminal justice system to reduce hate crime rates. Find more research topics on studycorgi.com.